Yeah. Hi guys. Good evening. Yeah. What we discussed in the last session? Yes. How to set what is API and what is the documentation? How to create the documentation for a project and how to set the build path. So can you tell me what is a build path and when we need to go for build path? What is build path? If you want to access libraries in our project, then we need to go for build path. What is the meaning of a library? Jar file. Library is nothing but a jar file. What is a jar file and what will be there in the jar file? Right. Jar contains dot class files. Jar contains dot class files. Jar files are also called as libraries. Are also called as libraries. Now, so to develop a Spring application, we need Spring libraries. To develop our project by using Spring, we need Spring libraries. To develop our project by using Hibernate, we need Hibernate libraries. To develop our project by using Servlet, we need Servlet libraries. If you want to develop a application by using JDBC to communicate with the database, JDBC library is required. Library is nothing but a jar file. How to use library in a project? By adding the library to the build path. Jar contains dot class files. Jar files are also called as libraries. When we want to use libraries in our project, when we want to use libraries in our project, then we need to add them to the build path. We need to add them to build path. Okay, build path is also called as class path. If you are developing from command prompt and all, then we will set the class path. If we are using IDE, then we will go for build path. All right. Now, for example, servlet library we need. Servlet library we need to develop a web application using Java. To develop web application using Java. To communicate with the database, we need JDBC libraries. We need JDBC library. So from now onwards, when we are developing a project, we need to add the libraries to the build path. So in the IDE, when we right click build path, configure build path, library, external jar files we are going to add. Now, a standalone application will be delivered to the client as a jar file. That jar file contains collection of dot class files. If we have a web application will be delivered to the client as a war file. Clear? Good. Now, can we see what all the classes available in the jar file? Can we see what all the classes available in the jar file? Yes. How to see all the classes available in the jar file? By extracting the jar file. What is the syntax to extract the jar file? jar-xvf space jar file name. All the dot class files available will be displayed. Now, here guys, there is a concept called Java decompiler. Do you know what is a compiler? What is a compiler? Compiler is used to convert Java program to bytecode. Compiler is used to convert Java program to bytecode. For that, in the Java, we have a compiler concept. Then what is a decompiler? What is a decompiler? Reverse operation. So here we have the Java program. Java program we are converting to bytecode by using Java compiler. Java C we are using as a compiler. It is converting our project to source code into bytecode. Now I have a dot class file. I want to see what is the code which is used to create that dot class file. For that, we can go for a concept called Java decompiler. Let us see how to work with Java decompiler. Java decompiler. It is used to see the source code of our bytecode. Whatever the bytecode is there, that class file will be available. That class file created by using which is Java program. We can see the source code of that by using Java decompiler. Java decompiler. JD is a decompiler, the Java programming language, GUI tool, as well as in the form of plugins. Okay, let's go to this Java decompiler website. Go to Java decompiler website. Here we can download that tool in order to get that back. Yeah, like this Java decompiler is available, JD GUI. Click on this download option. For the Windows, I'm going to download that. Java decompiler I'm downloading for Windows. So here it is available as a jar file, JD GUI, Linux related, Mac related, Windows related. So my machine is using Windows operating system. Let me click on this. A zip file will be downloaded. Let us see. What is that decompiler? Yeah, it is downloading as a zip file. Now, sir, why we need this decompiler? Just for understanding purpose. Whatever the source code is available, that source code we are converting into bytecode. That class file will be created. In that dot class file, what is the code available? I want to see. If I open that dot class file, can we understand the bytecode? If I open a dot class file, can we understand that? No. If we open the dot class file, we cannot understand because it is not human readable format. Then how can we understand what is the bytecode available in that? Suppose tomorrow I will use servlet jar file, which is given by our Sun Micro system. So in that servlet jar file, so many dot class files will be available. I want to see what is the code in that dot class file. For that, we can go for Java decompiler concept. Java compiler, Java decompiler. What is the difference between compiler and decompiler? Compiler will convert from source code to bytecode. Decompiler from bytecode to source code, right? Yes. I have downloaded that Java decompiler software as a zip file. We got it. Let me extract this zip. Yeah, I have extracted. Yes. So here we got one .exe file, jd-gui.exe. Simply open that .exe file. Java decompiler software is opening. Yes, we are able to open Java decompiler software. Okay, file, open a file, take any file which is available in our system. Let me take one dot class file and let us see what it will do with the dot class file. So here I have user dot class. I will give user dot class file to this decompiler, user dot class. Okay, I have given user dot class file to Java decompiler. What happened, guys? What it is giving now? Source code we are getting. I have given that class file as an input for the decompiler. It converting from that bytecode to source code. So in future, when we are developing our web applications by using JDBC, servlets, and JSP, some dot class files we need to check to understand what is the code available in that. Directly, if I go here and here I have user dot class. If I directly open this user dot class, what is happening? Bytecode. Can we read that bytecode? No, bytecode is not in the readable format. Source code we can read because we are writing that source code. Source code can be converted to bytecode. From bytecode, can we generate the source code? There is a software. What is that software? Java decompiler. What is the purpose of Java decompiler? From the bytecode, we can generate the source code. As of now, what we have done from last 3 months, from source code, we are converting to bytecode. From the bytecode, machine code generated. Java program we are writing, which contains the source code. From that source code, we are converting that source code to bytecode. But today, first time we understood bytecode can be converted to source code also. For that, we have a software called Java decompiler. It is available as a .exe software. We can open that now. Similarly, how I opened a .class file, can I open the jar file and can I see what all the details available in the jar file also? Yes or no? Yes. So now let us see here. In my system, there are so many jar files are available. Let me take one jar file. Maven M2 repository. org hibernate core 5.4.12.final final jar file is available. So file contains hibernate related classes and interfaces. Let me take them. Let me keep that jar file here. I'm keeping the jar file here. Now, I want to understand what all the classes available in the Hibernate jar file and what code is available in those classes also. Come on, guys. I have one jar file. That jar file is a Hibernate jar file. In that Hibernate jar file, I want to understand what all the classes available. How can we identify? One option, extract the jar file. If I extract the jar file, what it will give? .class files. I want to understand what code is available in the .class file. Java decompiler. Now, instead of extracting the jar file separately, directly we can open the jar file in the decompiler. Decompiler will open the jar file, will give us what all the .class files available. When you click on particular .class file, it will convert that bytecode to source code also. Are you clear with my point? Yes. Now let's go to Java decompiler. Let's close this file, open file. I'm selecting a jar file, Hibernate core jar file. Click on open. When I open that Hibernate jar file, you can see that, oh my God, how many classes are available? Who given these classes? Did I develop these classes? No, it is developed by Hibernate framework team. Some company developed Hibernate framework, which is used to communicate with the database by using Java. Already JDBC available. On JDBC, Hibernate came as top of the JDBC. By using Hibernate, we can easily develop the logic to communicate with the database. In that Hibernate framework, Hibernate is one project. How we are getting Hibernate project developed by some jar file. Hibernate framework developed. Hibernate is one project. It is developed by some company. How I want to use Hibernate framework in our project. So I need to download the Hibernate framework. Hibernate is a standalone project. Hibernate is a web application. Hibernate standalone. Every standalone project. Now, in the Hibernate jar file, what all the classes available I want to understand. In the Hibernate jar file, what all the classes available and what all the code is available in that. Can we check that? Yes or no? By using decompiler, can we? Yes, by using decompiler, we can check that. See, I opened Hibernate jar file. Let me zoom it. I opened Hibernate core final.jar. Jar means a collection of .class files. In the Hibernate jar file, there are so many packages are available. In each package, there are so many classes are available. When I click on that particular class, it is showing me what is the code that implemented by Hibernate. It is showing me what is the code implemented by Hibernate. So with this, you understand what is Java decompiler. Come on guys, what is the purpose of Java decompiler? It is used to see source code. It is used to see source code using dot class file or jar file. We can understand what all the dot classes available in the jar file, and we can understand what is the source code of that bytecode also. Java decompiler is used to convert from bytecode to source code. It is used to convert bytecode to source code. Java decompiler is used to convert bytecode to source code. Java decompiler we can download as a exe file. We can download Java decompiler. We can download Java decompiler to convert bytecode to source code. To convert bytecode to source code. I'm giving the link to download it, guys. Copy link address. Yeah. If you click on this link, then Java decompiler software will be downloaded. Then extract that zip file. In that, you can see .exe file. By using the .exe file, we can open this Java decompiler. Java decompiler is a web application or standalone application. Standalone. How can you say it is a standalone application? It is available as a jar or .exe file. We can download, we can use it. Now I downloaded Java decompiler in my system. Can you use that in your system? No. Again, you need to download that. You need to download that in your system to understand how to work with the decompiler. Are you clear? Compiler, decompiler. Compiler means source code to bytecode. Decompiler means bytecode to source code. Perfect. Yes. Java decompiler, it is used to convert bytecode to source code. We can download Java decompiler to convert bytecode to source code. URL to download. Using below URL, we can download Java decompiler. When we go for JSP, that time we need to work with Java decompiler to understand, guys. So I'm giving the basic introduction, what is decompiler and how to work with that. It is not required now. In the upcoming classes, we need to work with Java decompiler. Right. In the interview also, they may ask this question. Everybody knows compilation. They may ask in the interview, I have a dot class file. Can I see what is the code of the dot class file? Yes or no? Yes, we can see the code of the dot class file also by using Java decompiler. That is one interview question. For freshers, they will ask it. From source code, we can convert to bytecode, but from bytecode, can we convert to source code? Yes, using decompiler. That's it. Yeah, fine. So with this, we are done with all the basic concepts that are required to start our advanced Java. Okay, so as of now, what we covered, we understood what is software project and how many types of projects will be available in the companies. Scratch development project will be available, maintenance project will be available, migration projects will be available. And how many types of applications can be developed by using Java? 3 types of applications mainly: standalone applications, web applications, distributed. Nowadays, do we have demand for standalone application? No. Mainly we are using Java to develop web applications and distributed applications. Right. How to deliver project to the client? By using jar. If the project is a standalone project, we will deliver that project as a jar file. If the project is a web application, deliver as a WAR file. If the application is an enterprise application, EAR file we are going to use. Now, so Java project architecture. Java project architecture. Every project is going to develop. We are going to develop every project by using layered architecture. That means our project will have multiple layers. When we are constructing a house, we will divide our house into multiple rooms, right? Similarly, our project also contains several classes. Those classes will be divided into multiple layers, right? Presentation layer will be available, web layer will be available, business layer will be available, persistence layer will be available. What is the persistence layer? Come on. The layer which contains classes which are responsible to communicate with the database. So the classes which contains a logic to communicate with the database, that is called persistence layer. Next 10 to 15 days of time, we are going to understand how to work with persistence layer only. Next to 10 to 15 days of time, we are going to understand how to develop a persistence layer. What we will do in the persistence layer? By using a Java program, we will communicate with the database. Whenever you sign up, your data should be stored into database. Whenever you log in, your username password should be verified by communicating with the database. Inserting the data, updating the data, deleting the data, retrieving the data. All these operations in the Oracle class you are doing manually with the SQL command line. But from now, we need to do that by using Java program. Next one. What is the business layer? What is the business layer? Business layer contains business logic. What is the web layer? What is the web layer? Which contains the logic to deal with the request and response. So to develop this web layer, we are going to use a servlets, right? For presentation layer, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, some front-end concepts will be available. Now, we know how to create a jar file, jar CVF, jar file name, main class. What is the purpose of main class? To specify in the jar file entry point. That main class represents entry point, right? How to run the jar file? Java space hyphen jar space jar file name. So when I run that jar file, in that jar file entry point will execute. Okay. Then how to use one project class in the another project? Is it possible to use one project class in the another project? Yes or no? How to use one project class in the another project? By using class path. So we will create one project. In that project, some classes will be available. We will package that project as a jar file. Jar nothing but collection of .class files. So project 1, jar is available. I want to use that class in the project 2. Set the class path for the jar 2. What is the difference between path and class path? Path is used to locate where our Java software is available. What is the class path? To locate where the .class files are available. So from now onwards, every day we need to set the class path. That means I want to develop one project. To develop my project, I need some classes. Those classes are available in the jar files. Everything I can't develop on my own. Sun Microsystem developed some classes which are required for everybody. Those jar files I want to use in my project. That jar file I need to add to build path of my project. Then I can use the classes in my project. One project classes we can access in the another project by adding the jars to the build path. Jars also called as libraries. Now we are using scanner class. That scanner is our class. Scanner is a predefined class in the Java. Predefined class in the Java. How come we are able to access a scanner? How we are able to use the scanner in our project? Where is that scanner? Scanner class is available in rt.jar. What is rt.jar? Runtime. All the predefined Java classes, scanner, buffer reader, string, system, arrays, collections, everything. All those classes are available in the rt.jar file. That rt.jar file will be available in the build path. That's why as a programmer, we are able to use all the Java classes in our program, right? Next one. What is the API? What is the API? API stands for Application Programming Interface. If you want to develop any application, we need API. We need API. API contains set of classes and interfaces, right? Now, so here Sun Microsystem provided two APIs for us. What are those two APIs? One is JSC API, another one is JEE API. What is the difference between JSC and JEE? JSC API contains set of classes, interfaces, methods to develop standalone project. Now, how can we understand what classes, interfaces are available in the JSC API? Documentation. How to understand all the details of the API? By using JEE API is available, which contains a set of classes and interfaces to develop an application in Java. Next one. So do you know how to create a documentation for our project? Yes. How to create a documentation for our project? Java doc command. By using Java doc command, we can create the documentation for our project. All right. Build path we understood. Decompiler also we understood. What is a decompiler? Decompiler is used to convert from bytecode to source code. All right. Fine. Next one. Now guys, let's understand how we are going to use JDBC to connect with our database. So here earlier Sun Microsystem developed JSC API. Sun Microsystem developed JSC API. So here this JSC API contains set of classes and interfaces to develop a standalone application by using Java. Now, at that time, Sun Microsystem thought that, okay, people can develop standalone applications by using Java. As part of this application, they need to store some data. Every programming language providing support to communicate with the database. So, Java people also should be able to communicate with the database by using Java program. So here Sun Microsystem has released JDBC API. Sun Microsystem has released JDBC API. That JDBC API is a part of JSC API. JDBC API is a part of JSC API. Inside the JSC API, JDBC related interfaces, JDBC related classes are available. Using these API classes and interfaces, we can communicate with the database. Now, Sun Microsystem released JDBC API to communicate with the database. But with which database we can communicate by using JDBC API? Who provided JDBC API? JDBC API provided by Sun Microsystem. Now, actually, when the Java came into market, 1991. When the databases came into market, 1995, 2000. In which year database came into market? 2000. जावा के बाद और जावा के पहले the first database came into market in the year of 1960. In the 1960, when the Java came into market, 1991. All right. Now, Sun Microsystem people want to enable database communication by using Java. But here, n number of questions available for Sun Microsystem. Some people will use Oracle database. Some people will use MySQL database. Some people will use SQL Server, PostgreSQL, MongoDB. Like that, there are so many databases available in the market. Is it only one database we have in the market, or there are so many databases available in the market? There are so many databases available in the market. Now, Sun Microsystem people thought that, okay, we are providing JDBC API. In this JDBC API, we need to provide some classes which help the developers to communicate with the database. Now again, the question, how many classes we need to develop? With which database they can communicate with our logic, right? So here, if Sun Microsystem write the logic to communicate with the Oracle database, then what will happen to the other databases? They cannot be connected. If Sun Microsystem develop the logic to connect with the MySQL database, then what will happen? We can connect with only MySQL. We cannot connect with any other database. So now, is it easy for Sun Microsystem to understand Java people will use which database? Can they understand our requirement? In my company, I will use MySQL. In your company, you may use Oracle. Somebody may go for MongoDB. Somebody may go for SQL Server. Somebody may go for Postgres SQL. At that time, Sun Microsystem people got confused. Hare, if I write the logic to communicate with the Oracle database, every Java programmer should use only Oracle database to store the data. If I write the logic to communicate with the MySQL database, every Java programmer should use only MySQL database, right? But in the market, there are 20 different databases available. And in future, some other databases also may come. All right. So 20 databases are available in the market. And in future, some databases may not available. Some company may collapse, or some new databases also can come into picture. Whenever new database comes, then what Sun Microsystem has to do? Again, they need to change the JDBC. Okay. So at that time, assume that in the 1991, our Java came into market. By that time, understand the concept, guys. So in the 1991, Java came into market. Sun Microsystem developed one language, and that language came into market. That became super hit in the market. It became very popular because of the features of the Java. Everybody started using Java language to develop the projects. Now, I want to use Java and I should be able to communicate with the database also. Java people should provide the logic to communicate with the database also. That means Java should provide some classes to help me to communicate with the database. But the question is, Java people should provide the classes to communicate with which database? Do they know that? No. Why? That is my requirement now. Communicating with the Oracle database is my requirement. I like Oracle. You like MySQL. Somebody like Postgres database. Somebody like SQL Server, MS SQL. There are different databases available. Assume that Sun Microsystem developed logic for Oracle database and MySQL database connection. What is the problem? Only we can use Oracle database and MySQL database. What about other databases? We cannot use. So is it something like forcing the developers to use only Oracle and MySQL? Yes. So is there any loosely coupling? No. Every Java programmer should go for only Oracle or MySQL. Is it recommended? Is it recommended? No. Why? Oracle may available or may not available in the future. We are talking about 1991, right? At that time, Oracle available, MySQL available. But after few years, if Oracle is gone, if MySQL is gone, Java people cannot communicate with the database. And in the market, some other databases came into picture which are very good, which are better than Oracle and MySQL. Then what about the Java? Java cannot support for that. So that's why Sun Microsystem people thought that, boss, if we write the logic to communicate with the database, that is something like forcing the Java developers to use only that database. Let us not force the developers. Let us not force the developers. Let us don't write the logic to communicate with the database. Leave it. Leave it. Call all the database vendors. Call all the database vendors. Tell them that Java you already know. Hey, Oracle company, come. MySQL, come. All the database vendors are available. At that time, what Sun Microsystem has is Sun Microsystem people conducted one meeting by calling all the database vendors. Oracle company, come to my meeting. MySQL company, come to my meeting. Postgres SQL, come to my meeting. Microsoft, come to my meeting. You already know that Java is the #1 language in the market. You already know that Java is a very powerful language in the market. Complete IT industry is running behind the Java now. Every project is developing by using Java. Now, for our Java people, they want to communicate with the database. I am from Sun Microsystem. We gave the language for the people. Those people are using our language, developing the projects. Now, so many companies are using Java to develop the project, but company to company database is changing. Some companies are going for Oracle. Some companies are going for MySQL. Some companies are going for SQL Server. That's where the problem. Now we need to sort out the problem. Now Sun Microsystem invited all the database vendors for the meeting. What is that meeting all about? How to communicate with the databases by using Java program. Which database depends upon the customers. Some people will go for one database, some people will go for other database. At that time, Sun Microsystem applied their criminal thoughts. We don't want to write the logic to communicate with the database, because today 10 databases available, tomorrow some other databases may come into picture. So whenever new database come, every time we need to change our logic. We are not interested for that. We are not interested for that. Why? Because today I can write the logic to communicate with the database. What about MySQL? What about Postgres SQL? What about SQL Server? What about MongoDB? Okay, I will write for all the 20 databases. After 5 years, again 20 more databases will come. So do you want me to write the code whenever new database comes? No, we are not interested for that. As you know that Java is a #1 language. Everybody using Java to develop the project. People want to use the database also. If you want to sell your database in the market, then you provide the logic for the Java people to communicate with your database. That is the trick played by Sun Microsystem at that time. So now Sun Microsystem just provided interfaces and classes, but those who classes and interfaces who don't know how to communicate with the database. Why? Because do we have only one database, or we have several databases in the market? Several databases available in the market. Then Sun Microsystem told that in the meeting, hey Oracle, do you want to promote your database? Yes sir, we want. At that time, Oracle is a different company, Sun Microsystem is a different company. Microsoft is one company, Sun Microsystem is one company. At that time, Oracle people told that, hey Sun, I want to promote my Oracle database. I will do one thing. I will develop the classes in the Java to communicate with the database. I will give those classes for the Java people as a jar file. As a jar file. Now, by using those classes, Java people can connect with my database. Then Sun Microsystem, okay, Oracle, very good. That means Sun Microsystem is not responsible to develop the logic to communicate with the Oracle database. Who is responsible to develop the classes to communicate with Oracle database? Oracle company is responsible. Why? They want to sell their database. If they want to sell the database, they need to provide the logic to communicate with Oracle database. That's where Oracle company developed some classes as a Java. Oracle company developed some classes In those classes, they have written the logic to communicate with the Oracle database. So now I'm a Java programmer. I want to communicate with the Oracle database. Who knows how to communicate with Oracle database? Oracle company knows that. They developed some classes. We need to download Oracle database classes which are developed by using Java. We need to use those classes in our project to communicate with Oracle database. Then what Microsoft will do? Same thing. Microsoft people also developed some classes by using Java to communicate with Microsoft SQL Server database. Then MySQL database company also developed some classes to communicate with the MySQL database by using Java. Tomorrow, when the new company comes into market, do we need to change anything in the JDBC? No. Why? Database vendor is responsible. So that's why by using JDBC, we can connect with the Oracle database, we can connect with the MySQL database, we can connect with the SQL Server, we can connect with the MongoDB also. How come we are able to connect with these many databases by using JDBC? Database vendors provided some classes for us. By using those classes, our Java program can communicate with any database available in the market. Tomorrow, if Oracle database is out of the market, do we need to change anything in the JDBC? Actually, JDBC is the dummy. There is no logic in the JDBC. Where is the actual logic to communicate with the database? Oracle people have that logic. MySQL people have that logic. It is something like a plug and play. It is something like a plug and play. Now, here, if you want to communicate with the Oracle database by using JDBC, to communicate with the Oracle database by using JDBC, Oracle database provided one class called Oracle driver. What is that class, guys? Oracle driver. What is that Oracle driver? Oracle driver is a class which is developed by Oracle company. That class having the logic to communicate with Oracle database. Now, as a programmer, what is my responsibility now? What is my responsibility as a programmer now? I need to use Oracle driver. Oracle driver given by Sun Micro system. Oracle driver given by Oracle database. Oracle database. Why? Sun Micro system don't want to take the headache. Why? Because there are several databases available in the market. Some people want to communicate with Oracle. Some people want to communicate with MySQL. So Sun Micro system conducted a meeting for all the database vendors. Was if you want to promote your database, you develop the classes to communicate with your database and give the classes for me. All right. So at that time, Oracle company developed one class called Oracle driver. What is that Oracle driver? Oracle driver class knows how to communicate with Oracle database. Sun Micro system don't know how to communicate with Oracle database. Who knows how to communicate with Oracle database? Oracle driver knows that. Who developed Oracle driver? Oracle company. So it is one project. It is one project developed by Oracle company. In that project, so many classes available that the project they delivered as a jar file. Now, if I want to develop a Java program to communicate with the Oracle database, what I need now? Oracle driver. How I will get the Oracle driver? As a jar file. How to use the jar file in my project? Adding to the build path. That's it. Now, similarly, I want to communicate with the MySQL database, guys. By using Java program, I want to communicate with the MySQL database. How can I communicate with the MySQL database by using Java program? What I need, sir? Does our Java knows how to communicate with the MySQL? Java don't know about that. Who knows how to communicate with the MySQL database? MySQL driver. Who knows that? MySQL driver knows that. So who developed that MySQL driver? MySQL company. The company who developed MySQL database, they developed MySQL driver. So here, in order to communicate with the Oracle database, we need Oracle driver. To communicate with the MySQL database, we need MySQL driver. Similarly, here we have SQL server given by Microsoft. That is a Microsoft database. How our Java program can connect with SQL Server database? SQL driver is required. SQL driver developed by Sun Microsystem, developed by Microsoft, developed by Microsoft. How to use that driver in our project? Download that jar file, add to our build path, then communicate with the database. So for developing our first program in the JDBC, class path is required. Why we need the class path? Because to communicate with the database, Java don't know anything. So Java database requires one mediator. That mediator is called driver. Driver is going to act as a mediator between Java program and database. Who is that driver? Who developed that driver? That driver developed by database vendor. If I want to communicate with the Oracle database, I need to take Oracle driver, which is developed by Oracle database. If I want to communicate with the MySQL database, I need to take MySQL driver developed by MySQL company. If I want to communicate with the SQL server, I need a SQL server driver developed by Microsoft. So those drivers we need to download, we need to keep in the build path, then our Java program can communicate with the database. So with this, what is our understanding? Java program can communicate with the database with the help of driver. Who is that driver? Database driver. Do we have one driver for all the databases? Every database having its own driver. Every database is having its own driver. Sir, how to get the driver? Drivers, database drivers will be available as jar file. So in that jar file, driver classes will be available. That jar file we will add to build path of our project and we will use those classes. Are you clear with my point? Yes. So with this, we got the basic idea. What is a JDBC? What is a driver? JDBC is just one API which contains a set of classes and interfaces. But who will do the actual work in the JDBC? Driver. Who is that driver? Database vendor driver. Vendor database to database, drivers are going to change. Now, if I want to communicate with the Oracle database, I need to take Oracle driver. If I want to communicate with the MySQL database, MySQL driver. How to use the driver in our project? How to use the driver in our project? We need to download that driver. Driver will be available as a jar file. That jar file we need to add to our project build path. Are you clear with my point? Yes. So in the Monday session, we will see how to download the driver, how to use the driver in our project, and how to communicate with the database. Are you clear, guys? Any questions, anyone? No? Good? Fine. Thank you. Online people, all of you, I wish you happy new year. We'll see you on Monday. Take it? Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you. We'll see you on Monday. Yeah, sure. Thank you, guys.